Now that we've read all about our nonfiction book, we are going to be talking to a family member, a friend, a dog or cat, or even a stuffed animal about what we learned in the book. So, from yesterday, you know that Miss Barr was reading all about Mars. I'm going to give you two bad examples of how you can talk with a partner about your book, but then I'm going to share one good example. All right, the first one, think of why this is a bad example. I read the story all about Mars, and this book is about how Mars is a planet. Do you think of why that was not very good? It wasn't very complete. I didn't tell you more things about the book, but also it wasn't very interesting. It didn't grab your attention as someone who would like to learn more about Mars. All right, I'll do one more example here, but this one, as Miss Barr was reading Mars, I wrote down some post-it notes. What I did is, for this example, I'm going to put them on my front cover so it's easier for me to read to you. Okay, think of why this is not a good example about sharing your book information. Okay, are you ready? Mars is the fourth closest planet to the sun. Mars is a freezing cold planet. People can't live on Mars. Mars has many dust storms. Can you think of why that was not a very good example? If you thought about how Miss Barr was not looking at you, you are correct. I also wasn't talking in a really interesting way. So when you are talking to a partner about what you've read, I want you to make sure to look at them in the eye and tell them information about your book in an interesting way to get them to want to read that book or to learn more information about your book. So today, and my actual example, you'll see I'm going to use, I'm going to be looking at you, and I want to have a really interesting conversation, okay? So I'll start. My book was about Mars. I learned some pretty cool information about Mars that I have not known before. I did know that Mars was a planet, but I didn't know that it was the fourth planet from the sun and that it's absolutely so cold on that planet. Also, when people can't live on Mars, they can't breathe on Mars. Mars has a lot of carbon dioxide instead of just oxygen, so it's hard for humans to breathe there. Also, I'll look quick. Also, I know that Mars has a lot of dust storms, so it's hard to see and breathe when dust is flying everywhere in your face. All right. So, friends, do you see how Miss Barr was looking at you? And I was telling you about my book and about my story. I could use some post notes to help me, but I made it interesting. I'm not just reading from my post notes. I wanted to kind of have a conversation. Now, also, the person that you are talking to about the book can ask some questions. So if you're all done talking and telling about your book, and the person you shared with has a question, I want you to make sure you're looking in their eyes and you listen for what they're saying. Okay? All right, today you're going to be rereading the nonfiction book you read yesterday, but I want you to make sure that you are finding someone in your house to talk about the book with. Okay? All right, good luck.